Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. I want to take this opportunity to thank my friends who are liking, who have subscribed already. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Mikwano jange mwenna abansubscribinzeeko abalikinze. Thank you. And those who have not yet, please subscribe also. Let's join the efforts together. So last time we stopped at we had done chapter 7, the executive. We looked at everything: the president, the vice president, the cabinet, the ministers, the judge, the whatever, everything in the executive powers, attorney generals, administrative officers, director of prosecution, everything. So now we are going to look at chapter 8, the judiciary, administration of justice. Chapter 8 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda 1995 as amended is the judiciary. Okay, Article 126, exercise of judicial power. Judicial power is derived from the people and shall be exercised by, first of all, let me explain to you. Judiciary is like we are looking at the rule of law, like the courts, and the judges and the lawyers who interpret the law and follow up. Okay, judicial power is derived from the people and shall be exercised by the courts established under this constitution in the name of the people, in conformity with law and with the values, norms and inspiration of the people. Amateeka gali judiciary galinga mateeka, tugenda laba mateeka courts bwe zigenda okukola, abalamuzi, balooya nga balina okutwalira ki, okutwala amateeka mu maaso. Ne tulaba nti amateeka gagenda beerawo lw'abantu, okuprotectinga abantu due to all within the values and norms. Kalina okubeerawo okukola ki mu values z'abantu. In adjudicating cases of both civil and criminal nature, the courts shall, subject to the law, apply the following principles. Kooti mu kugobera amateeka ate n'okukulembeza abantu mpisa, kooti zigenda kukolera ku buno obukwakkulizo wammanga. Justice shall be done to all irrespective of their social or economic status. Obwenkanyankanya bujja kukola ku buli omu. Tewali bya mbo simanyi gwoli ki, simanyi gwoli celeb, simanyi nti no. Justice shall be done to all the people irrespective of your status. Simanyi mbo oli ki, oli minister, oli biki, oli muyimbi, oli comedian, oli YouTuber, no. Mateeka yajja kukola ku buli omu. Okay. Justice shall not be delayed. Obwenkanyankanya tebugenda kukeereyebwa. Constitution egamba obwenkanyankanya tebulina kukeereyebwa. If we need justice, please let's get justice. Okay. Adequate compensation shall be awarded to victims of wrong. So bwe tugenda mu mateeka, omusango kale katugambe tuli mu kooti, omusango gukusinze, oli alina okukompensatingibwa, alina okuweebwa biki ebifiiridde mu mirimu gye, biki byafiiridde mu musango. Simanyi oba olinga wamulumba n'omutema, olina ebintu bye ebisinga n'obyasa. So those things should be recovered or compensated. Okay. Substantive justice shall be administered without undue regards to technicalities. Substantial justice shall be administered without undue regards to technicalities. Justice eya substance simanyi kukiza mu Luganda. Substantive justice, abakimanyi mukiteeke mu comment section, abatakimanyi bakole ki, nabo bakirabe. Okay. Article 127, participation of the people in the administration of justice. Abantu balina okuparticipatinga batya mu bwenkanyankanya, mu kutambuzaawo obwenkanya. Parliament shall make laws providing for participation of the people in the administration of justice by the courts. Parliament ejja kuteekawo amateeka okulaba ngu n'abantu ba bulijjo ba participatinga mu makooti oba mu kuteekawo obwenkanya. Okay. 128. Independence of the judiciary. Judiciary, obwenkanyankanya, like courts zigenda beerawo zitya nga tezirina, with their own powers. In the exercise of judicial power, the courts shall be independent and shall not be subject to the control or direction of any person or authority. In exercise of judicial powers, wabaawo obwenkanyankanya obugenda okusalibwa, kooti tezirina kubeesingira ku muntu yenna, oba tezigenda kubeesingira ku powers zonna, oba tezigenda kubeesingira kakiiko oba gavumenti oba kitongole. No. In exercise of judicial power, baba basala omusango oba basala amateeka oba bakola obwenkanya, tebalina kubeesingira ku what is big oba authority oba government oba blah blah blah. So justice shall be exercised in in non-response to that. No person or authority shall interfere with the courts of justice, or judicial officers in the exercise of their judicial functions. Teri muntu yenna oba katongole oba kakiiko oba anything oba organization ejja kgenda ku interferinga mu kuteekawo ki obwenkanya. Katugambe gwe waabidde oli omusango lwakuba oli nti amanyi balamu, kati ebalamu aveeyo agende mu bakooti mu malamuzi agambe n'owono mumanyi bla bla, leka tukole tutya. No person or authority or organization shall interfere into the judicial affairs. All organs and agencies of the state shall accord to the courts such assistance as may be required to ensure the effectiveness of courts. All organs, buli kitongole kyonna ekiri mu state, ekiri mu government kijja kuweereza judicial courts obuyambi bwonna obuba bwetaagisibwa. Baba beetaaganga fayiro eri ku police station oba fayiro eri mu kitongole ki, then awo wonna fayiro weeri shall be of assistance to the judicial courts. Sorry. Okay. A person exercising judicial power shall not be liable to any action or suit for any act or omission by that person in exercise of judicial power. Katugambe nti gwe a person exercising judicial powers, omuntu gwe bagezaako okufunira obwenkanya oba agezaako okufuna obwenkanya, tajja kufuna kakwatekwate n'oli agaba obwenkanya. Okitegeere? Yeah. Oli katugambe kale oze okusalira omulamuzi, ate omulamuzi agenda okusalira musango, yagenda ali mu kusupportinga oba like is in doing things in your favors. A person exercising judicial power shall not be liable to any action or suit, any act of omission by the person in the exercise of judicial power. No one shall be liable to any person in the judicial power. The administrative expense of the judiciary, including all salaries, allowance, gratuity, and pensions payable to or in respect of persons serving in the judicial, shall be charged on the consolidation fund. Abo nabagamba constant za consolidation fund nali nabagamba jeziva. So that money, salaries, allowances, transport, medication, mafuta, bichi, all ezo sente zonna zigenda kuva ku consolidation fund ya government. The judiciary shall be self-accounting and may deal directly with the ministry responsible for the finance in relation to its finances. Judiciary oba ekitongole ekituusako justice, it shall be reliable. Kigenda beera kyokka tekirina kuyita mu muntu yenna. It shall be directed to the Minister of Finance. Baba bagenda okujja emisaala yaabwe, baba bagenda obbasasula, baba bagenda obbaweera allowance. Si kuyitira mu ki through other organs. The salary, allowance, privileges and retirement benefits and other conditions of service of a judicial officer or other person exercising judicial powers shall not be varied to his or her disadvantage. Katugambe nti oli afudde oba alitayalinze oba akoze eki, services akasiimo ke tekagenda beerawo lwakuba nti ekyo kibi kyakoze oba something, shall not be like a disadvantage, shall not be varied to his or her disadvantage. Oba nkize ntya mu Luganda naye tujja kweyamba tweyambagane. The office of the Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice, Principal Judge, Justice of Supreme Court, Justice of Appeal, or a Judge of High Court shall not be abolished when there is a substantive holder of that office. Office ya Chief Justice, Awinyidolo. Office ya Deputy Chief Justice, Office ya Principal Judge, Judge wa Supreme Court, Justice of Appeal, Judge wa High Court, tezigenda kujibwawo oba kuwumuzibwa. Tezigenda kuwumuzibwa mpozi nga waliko akola ki asobola okyupayinga that time. Okay. The courts of judicature. Courts of judicature. That is Article 129. 1. The judicial power of Uganda shall be exercised by the courts of judicature, which shall consist of 1. Supreme Court. Eyo court ensukulumu. Nakabejja. Kuva ku Supreme Court tuba tudda ku Court of Appeal. Musango babagize baki, omusango gwe baguganye n'ogutwala ku Court of Appeal. Then bw'ova ku Court of Appeal n'odda ku High Court of Uganda. Olaba weziva Supreme Court, Court of Appeal and High Court of Uganda. And such subordinate courts as Parliament may by law establish include quays courts, courts of marriage, divorce, inheritance of property and guardianship as may be prescribed by Parliament. So Parliament yejja kuteekawo ejja kusalawo courts of marriage, courts of divorce, okuwanga mwegasse obanga baawukanye obanga waliwo taata wa afudde oyagala kusikira bintu bye, inheritance of property, obanga bakugambye gwe guardian. So Parliament ejja kuteekawo amateeka agagenda okudescribinga how it shall be. The Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal and the High Court of Uganda shall be superior courts of record and shall each have all the powers of such a court. Supreme Court ensukulumu, Court of Appeal okubanga you appeal mu Uganda oyina kyeweemulugunya sikyo? Kiguddemu. Court of Appeal ne High Court zigenda kubeera superior courts. Ezigenda kubeera courts ez'amaanyi zikabejja otwalayo omusango manya Subject to the provision of this constitution, Parliament may make provisions for the jurisdiction and procedure of the court. Subject to the provision of this constitution, Parliament may make provisions for the jurisdiction and procedure of courts. Parliament nene this old constitution. Constitution here now ogiraba, everything is referring to Parliament shall, Parliament will, Parliament may, Parliament will do this, Parliament will do this. So okay, katika tutandike tumenyemu kwemu. The Supreme Court of Uganda. Supreme Court of Uganda. The Supreme Court shall consist of the Chief Justice, and such number of justices of the Supreme Court not being less than 6, as Parliament may by law prescribe. Supreme Court ejja kubeeramu Chief Justice Justice Alfonso Owiny-Dollo, then n'aba judges abalala 6, not less than 6, as Parliament may prescribe. Okay, the Supreme Court. Then 131, composition of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court ejja kubeeramu kyawo. Atulabe. The Supreme Court shall be duly constituted. Oh, 1 second. 1 second. Sorry. The Supreme Court shall be duly constituted at any sitting if it consists of an even number not being less than 5 members of the court. Inobeeramu abantu nga teba not less than 5 or 6. 5 members. Balina okubeera abantu 5. Baba tebaba 5, it will be taken tuula. Okay. When hearing appeals from decision of the Court of Appeal sitting as a constitutional court, the Supreme Court shall consist of a full bench of all members of the Supreme Court, and where any of them is not able to attend, the President shall, for that purpose, appoint an acting justice under Article 142(2) of this Constitution. Bwebabaawo nga baleese omusango gwonna okuva mu Court of Appeal, bajjaji bonna, Chief Justice ne bajjaji abalala 6 bonna balina okubeerawo. Bwe babulako omu oba nga afunye ekizibu nga taliwo, President ajja ku appointing agenda otuula mu kifo ekyo. Have to be all attentive to hear what the Court of Appeal is saying. The Chief Justice shall preside at each sitting of the Supreme Court, and in the absence of the Chief Justice, the most senior member of the court, as the Constitution shall preside, as the court, as the constituted shall preside. Chief Justice bwabulawo, Chief Justice yalina okutuuza. Bwabulawo, then member omukulu w'abajjaji abo yalina okutuuzaawo. But for the omusango nga guva mu Court of Appeal, bonna balina okubeerawo as a must. Okay, Article 132, jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court shall be the final court of appeal. Supreme Court egenda obeera final. Awaawo Supreme Court bweremu oba omusango gutwalawo oba mu International Criminal Court, awo simanyi. An appeal shall lie to the Supreme Court from such a decision of the Court of Appeal as may be prescribed by the law. An appeal shall lie to the Supreme Court from such a decision of the Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal we batwalayo omusango gwo ng'olina bye bapiiringa, then awo ne bagusindikawo mu Supreme Court. Any party aggrieved by a decision of the Court of Appeal sitting as a constitutional court in the title to appeal to the Supreme Court against the decision, and accordingly, an appeal shall lie to the Supreme Court under clause 2 of this article. Ebiva mu Court of Appeal bw'obanga tokoze eki, bw'obanga tobisiimye, osobola okuwandiika n'ogenda wa mu kkooti ensukulumu, Supreme Court. Okay, the Supreme Court may, while treating its own previous decision as normally binding, depart from a previous decision when it appears to it right to do, and all other courts shall be bound to follow the decision of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court bw'esalawo bw'ekola decision yonna bw'egira bw'ekyegize, every court oba martial court oba biki, they should bound and listen balina okukkiriza decision Supreme Court kubanga ye court ensukulumu. There is no any other court that is above the Supreme Court. Excuse me. Okay. Article 133, Administrative Functions of the Chief Justice. Administrative functions of the Chief Justice. Kabwe twabagambye katulabe Chief Justice waffe Owiny Dollo kyabagenda okola kyotukolera. The Chief Justice shall be head of judiciary and shall be responsible for the administration and supervision of all courts in Uganda, and may issue orders and directions to the courts necessary for the proper and efficient administration of justice. Chief Justice yagenda okulira amakooti gonna era yagenda ogawa ebiragiro era buli kooti yonna erina okulisteninga to what the Chief Justice Owiny Dollo will do, what will have to say, and they shall obey. I have a scenario recently, and the court stopped all cases, emisango gyonna egyali mu makooti gonna ag'amagye gye baali batryinga those people who are not soldiers mu kooti z'amagye. Kooti yagamba babaleke ne babalina babate babasindike mu kooti za bulijjo, but they didn't do it, so I didn't see any action that was taken against them, but maybe let's try to find out when you're with me. Okay. May issue orders directed to courts necessary for proper efficient administration. Chief Justice ajja kuwa amateeka mu makooti ga bulijjo for easy administration and efficient administration. Okay. 2. Where the office of the Chief Justice is vacant, or where the Chief Justice is for any reason unable to perform the functions of his or her office, then until a person has been appointed to and has assumed the functions of that office, or until the Chief Justice has resumed the performance of those functions shall be performed by the Deputy Chief Justice. Katugambe Chief Justice taliiwo, oba something has happened, oba resigning, oba is not in the country, all his duties shall be performed by the Deputy Chief Justice. Okay. Oyo tubadde ensonga lwaki tulabye ku Chief Justice okuba tubadde tuli ku Supreme Court. Then katika tugende ku the Court of Appeal. Courts of Appeal of Uganda. The Court of Appeal of Uganda shall consist the Deputy Chief Justice and such a number of justices of appeal not being less than 7 as Parliament may by law prescribe. Court of Appeal erina obeeramu abantu agikulira agenda beera Deputy Chief Justice, Deputy wooli wa Owiny Dollo ew'omu Supreme Court. Nene court egenda beeramu abantu 7, ba judges 7. An appeal shall lie to the Court of Appeal from such decision of the High Court as may be prescribed by the law. Jukira nti a Court of Appeal eri waggulu wa High Court. So omusango gujja kuva mu High Court baguleete mu Court of Appeal. Compositions of the Court of Appeal. That is Article 135. The Court of Appeal shall be duly constituted at any sitting if it consists of an even number not being less than 3 members of the court. Court eno wegenda tula Court of Appeal erina okubeeramu even number. Even numbers zino 2, 4, 6. Jukira balina okubeera 7, then ne Deputy Chief Justice agikulira think be 8. So tebalina beera basatu, they have to be 4. I think this is because of if they want to make a decision, they should count. Okay. The Deputy Chief Justice shall preside at each sitting of the court, and in the absence of the Deputy Chief Justice, the most senior member of the court as constitution shall preside. Nankani Deputy Chief Justice jukira yakulira no Court of Appeal. yagenda okubeera ki judge yagenda okubeera nga akulira. Then bw'aba taliiwo senior member w'abo bajjaaji omusanvu alina okuvaamu n'akola ki na presiding oba n'akiikirira. The Chief Justice in consultation with the Deputy Chief Justice may create divisions of the Court of Appeal as the Chief Justice may consider necessary, consisting of such members of Judices of Appeal as may be assigned to them by the Chief Justice. Chief Justice amaanyi gayina sobola okukolamu some divisions in the Court of Appeal. Era buli member n'akola ki, he may assign some duties and responsibilities to those judges. Sitting at such place in Uganda as the Chief Justice may after. As the Chief Justice may. Chief Justice asobola okusalawo wabwe bagenda otuula after consultation with the Attorney General by statutory order determined. Kiyo wakiwanuka ndowooza mujjukira. So okutuula Chief Justice bw'aba ayagala abantu bafune batuula alina okufuna consultation okuva wa Attorney General. Attorney General twamwogeddeko ndowooza ffenna tumanyi byakola. So what he decides, then they go with that. Okay. 136. Administrative functions of the Deputy Chief Justice. Administration functions of the Deputy Chief Justice. Subject to the provision of Article 133 of this Constitution, Deputy Chief Justice shall deputize for the Chief Justice as and when the need arises. Omugaso omunene ogwa Deputy Chief Justice alina okukola emirimu egya Chief Justice bw'abanga taliiwo, biringa head teacher ne wabeerawo ne deputy head teacher. Deputy head teacher bw'aba taliiwo, deputy head teacher yabeeranga akulira essomero. So this is how it is also here. Excuse me. To the head of Court of Appeal, and in that capacity assist the Chief Justice in administration of the court, of that court, and perform such other functions as may be delegated or assigned to him or her by the Chief Justice. Agenda kulira Court of Appeal mweyo capacity ne Chief Justice byaba amulagira okukola mweyo kooti. So that will be his role as directed by the Chief Justice. 2. Where the office of the Deputy Chief Justice is vacant. Office ya Deputy Chief Justice bwebeera nga teri mwalimu, what will happen? The Deputy Chief Justice is acting as the Chief Justice. Office ya Deputy Chief Justice ejja kubeera vacant etya? Ejja kubeera vacant nga Deputy Chief Justice ali mu kukola nga Chief Justice. Or the Deputy Chief Justice is for any reason unable to perform the functions of his or her role, then until a person has been appointed to and has assumed the functions of the office of the Deputy Chief Justice, those functions shall be performed by a Justice of the Supreme Court or a Justice of Appeal designed by the President after the consultation with the Chief Justice or the Acting Chief Justice, as the case may be. The office ya Deputy Chief Justice ensonga emu ejja kubeera vacant nga Chief Justice akola, I mean nga Deputy Chief Justice akola emirimu ya Chief Justice, oba office bwebeera enkalu nga President agezaako onoonya omuntu omulala onagitwala, naye Deputy President, I mean President agenda kubeera nga consulting with the current Chief Justice for the person who will, who will occupy that office. Okay. The Constitutional Court. Constitutional Court. Questions as to the interpretation of the Constitution. Then we tunamala Constitutional Court, tumale tudde ku High Court. I think this will be enough for today. My friend here wants to sleep. Deriki. Anyway, we shall stop here today. Tomorrow, next time, we shall begin from the Constitutional Court. We have started chapter 8, the Judiciary. We have looked at courts of law, Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice, High Court, Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, and High Court. So we shall start from the Constitutional Court after we go on the High Court. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the like. Thank you for the support. See you next time. Bye.